Okay, so I'm back, and I just looked at the last video that I posted, which was point 2, topic 10, and I left off. I was talking about confessions, and I was talking about my confession, and I was also talking about what happened, like, because I was addressing some rumors that no one ever told me about the rumors, but I do receive energy, and I know what's going on sometimes, so people don't always have to say something directly to me about certain subjects or certain things, but I'll be able to like pick up certain energies and kind of figure out like what an issue might be or what's going on, so I was addressing I guess the rumors or the ridiculous rumors, but I was addressing the rumors on children, child molestation, any allegations that may have been made, or not allegations but rumors, or just anything, because like I said, animals as well, not just children, animals as well. I gotta clear up everything, like literally I gotta clear up everything, because like I said, like I have to be able to be trusted, because it's you have to be able to trust me, because it's really important. So that's why I'm talking about myself right now before I get into like a lot of general things, for that reason, because I just want to talk about myself first, like I said, because I just have to have people, get to know really who I am, and, clear up the rumors, confirm things, deny things, what's true, what's not true, what's the real story on me, because, I just think there's a lot of ridiculous rumors, a lot of incorrect information, as I stated in the previously. So I'll just continue with where I left off, which was I was in the supermarket. Okay, a friend of mine, she asked me to take her to the supermarket, and I said that's fine. So basically, like I said, at this point, I was kind of frantic, really, because at that point I had just gotten out the hospital that I was in the last time for 3 days. So I just gotten out, and I had wrote all those things, and the main epiphany had just occurred maybe a few days before, a week or so before, about a week or so before this point. And so I was real frantic, and with everything, so I just really didn't want to leave the confession just sitting around anywhere, because like as I stated, it wasn't just my confession, it was also other things I had written, and just a lot of other important, relevant things. So basically, I took the confession with me to the supermarket. Okay, so we're in the supermarket. I'm literally walking around with the confession in my hand the entire time. And so we got the checkout. Okay, so we got the checkout, and I started kind of helping her put the groceries up on the thing, and I had the confession in my hand. So originally I set the confession down because I was, kind of helping put some of the groceries up on the thing, and I had to, I needed my hands, so I sat it down, and the newsstand was right there. So I'm like, okay, I'll just get it, I'll pick it right back up. So I was helping her get some of the things, and then I got on my phone. Okay, so this is how I really got distracted from, I'm just telling the story of what happened, and then I'll clear up what may have been said. So basically, I had really got distracted because I got on my phone, and at that moment, she's checking out, because I wasn't getting anything. I was just taking her. So she's checking out, and I'm waiting for her. So I'm on my phone, and she's checking out, I'm on my phone, I'm on my Facebook, and I got distracted because at that moment I was still kind of in episode as I called them. So I was still kind of in an episode, not too much, but a little bit. So basically, I was on my Facebook and I was changing my relationship status to married. That's also what I was doing. I was changing that to married. And I was also changing just other information on my Facebook profile. Like I had changed my my religious beliefs, while also, which I want to talk about. I had changed that from, because I was a Baptist as an adult, Christian Baptist, and I was changing my religious beliefs to Egyptian truth, is what I called it on my profile. So I did that. I changed my relationship status to married, and I just changed a few other things, just like on my Facebook profile. Okay, don't ask me why I did not think I was even going to do that, but for some reason I just grabbed my phone and I started doing that. Like, I just was like, you know what, I don't want to have these certain things on my Facebook profile, because at that point I had revealed myself. You know, I had posted the things I posted. So I was like, I don't want to have this old information on my profile, because I had stated previously before that my page was now public. I had made that. See, that's another thing I was doing. That's another thing I did, like that day while as we were in the supermarket checkout. That's another thing I did. I changed my Facebook profile to public. Also, that's also when I did that. I changed that to public. So I did all that while we're checking out. So you see, this is why I got so distracted. So I ended up leaving the confession and all the other writings on the newsstand. It was on the newsstand. So I'm sure that was a hot newsstand that day. You know, I'm actually curious as to who picked it up and who got it after that. But just out of curiosity. But yeah, so that is why I got distracted, and that is why I ended up leaving the confession and the other writings. It was all together in like a booklet. I ended up leaving it on the newsstand in the supermarket. East Hills John Eagle is where I left it, as I stated. So what I think is what happened as far as the rumors is that confession got out there the wrong way. You know what I mean? So I'm just assuming someone seen it, picked it up. You know, they read it and they just totally assumed the wrong things. They flipped it. Just like I just said, they flipped it, twisted it, you know, altered it, changed it, fucked it, sucked it. They did everything they could to that confession, and they twisted everything around, and they ran their mouth. They did a lot of that without a lot of information. So that's what happened. So I'm thinking that the rumors may have started by what was actually in the confession. So I'm going to tell you some of what was in the confession right now, because I have to clear this up. Okay, so I wrote the confession, like I said, knowing that I had to tell the truth in any of my wrongdoing. So there would have not been anything good that I had done on the confession. A confession, like I said, is geared towards wrongdoings. Okay, so you know, you just know in your heart that if something's bothering you, you know, you just know what you've done wrong in your life. You know what you've done wrong. It may not even technically be wrong. It just may be something you feel was wrong, you know, or something that just sticks out in your life and you kind of feel like that's wrong, or, you know, whatnot. Everyone knows deep down, like, all the things they have truly done wrong. Like, if you really sit there and, you know, just think on and reflect on your life, you know, you're honest with yourself, and you're not afraid to admit things and own your shit, you know, you will know, you know, deep down that was wrong, or I feel wrong about that, or you just know, you know what I mean? Even if you don't want to admit it, you know, but you know. So anything that may have, see, it may not, some things may not be, other people may not think is wrong that you've done, you know what I mean? But it may be something you feel was wrong, you know what I mean? Like, society may not feel like, okay, well, that wasn't that bad, or that wasn't wrong, or whatever. But it's like, everyone has their own interpretation of what something wrong is. So I wrote down everything I felt was wrong in my life that I may have done wrong. So that's what I wrote down. So I think some of the rumors may have started because on the confession, I did confess that I was about, I want to say around maybe 11. Yeah, I would say around 11 years old. Because we had just moved from the Hill District. We had just moved to Homewood. And my aunt was visiting us. And she has a daughter. Okay, her aunt, my cousin, Shaquela. And this was on the confession. Okay. So, basically, I was around 11, I guess. And so my Aunt Sabrina, she asked me to take my cousin to the bathroom. So I said, fine. So I took her up there. And she's in the bathroom. She went. And, you know, as I was like, because I'm trying to think how old she was. She was probably like, I really should do the math. Okay, I would say maybe, I really don't know. I would say probably 3 to 4 to 5 or so. And I'm like 11. So, I took her to the bathroom. So now as I'm changing, or not changing her, but as I'm pulling her pants up or something, like, I touched her butt like that. Like, I touched it, but I was like pulling her pants up or something as I was doing it. But I was just, it made me feel weird. Like, so I was just like, you know, but I'm just, you know, changing. I didn't touch it like, oh yeah. You know, like, I kind of felt, it just, I was like, I don't like, you know, it felt funny. You know what I mean? So, it just always stuck out in my life. You know what I mean? Like, if you would have seen it, you probably wouldn't have really even noticed it. You know what I mean? Because you just would see it, really, because I can think back and remember, like, what happened. So, you know, I remember what happened. So, you know, someone watching that, like, say there was a movie of what happened, you know, if someone was to watch that, they really, literally, probably wouldn't even know what I was talking about. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. Someone could watch that. I'm pretty sure people would watch that if they seen it, and they probably couldn't even pick out where it happened and when it happened, you know, in that few minutes. So, but I wrote that down because, like I said, it made me feel weird. You know, it didn't make me feel good. So, you know, it stuck out in my mind, you know, for all these years, you know, and I just felt like it was a negative thing. You know what I mean? I felt negative when that happened. You know, I felt very negative, and I felt just a bad feeling come over me, you know, in that moment. And that just kind of always stuck out in my life, you know, and I always kind of remember that moment. So I was about, like I said, I was about 11, and, you know, basically, you know, I had told, you know, also I want to say something else. Years ago, 2007, when the first episode happened, when I first really, you know, that's really when my third eye started, as what is the proper term for that, because, you know, I just, you know, found out what was going on. You know, looking back at things now, I know, like, what was going on and everything. So 2007 is when I first started to really see things and have episodes and whatnot. Because before that, there was things that stood out in my life. But as far as, like, it really started happening in 2007. So that is when my third eye started. The third eye of God, like I said, the third eye of Ra is what I have. And I'll explain more about that as well, exactly what that means, too. Sorry. Because I'll explain more about what that actually means. So 2007 is when things really just started to, pick up. So, basically before, when I started my first episode, that's one thing that was very common in each of my episodes. I always felt the need to tell the truth about everything while I was in the episode. So you see, it was kind of leading up to, what was going to happen. So like, while I was in these episodes, I just found it necessary. I told the truth about everything, and I confessed and admitted things that I felt was wrong, that I did, to people in my life, while I was in these episodes. So, at this time in 2007, I had called my sister and I told her what had happened, because something had happened between us in the past, that, I felt, like I said, these are things that you feel is wrong, so these are things that stuck out in my life I felt was wrong, you know what I mean? Even though it may not have been, someone may look at that or get the right information and they'll be like, well, that's not really your fault, or it's not wrong. But, like I said, these are things that you feel was wrong in your life. That's, so these are things that always stuck out. So I had called her on the phone and had told her what happened and pertaining to what happened involving our relationship. And she knows what happened, because I repeatedly said what happened. I mean, I don't know what else to do, but I told her that, and I'll talk about that more too when I talk about Sekhmet, because I'm sorry, as I stated, Sekhmet would be my sister Christine in this life. So when I talk about Sekhmet, I'll talk more about that, what happened. And so I had called her on the phone and told her the truth about what happened. I called my aunt on the phone, and I told what I just told you, what happened. I told her that. Like, I literally called my aunt and I said, what happened? Like, when I was 11 or whatever. I told her what I just told you. I might not have gone into that much detail, but, I called her. And I told her that, and this was, as I stated, I was like about 11 when this happened. So 2007, I would have been, 22. So I called her, I was 22 now, and I had never said anything about that to anyone, you know what I mean, up until that point. But like I said, it always stuck out in my life for me. Like, it was something I kind of always remembered, because like I said, it was a negative feeling that came upon me, so I now know kind of what was happening there, because I just now I realize something had happened to me as a child when I was way younger than 11. So, involving that, someone had done something to me along those lines, child molestation. So, it's like, I didn't know that at that point, though. When I was 11, I didn't really know that until now. Like, recently, I kind of can look back and remember a lot of more things at earlier times in my life, when you're like 1, 2, or 3, those years. So it's like some things I wasn't able to recall in the past, I've been able to recall recently. So when I was 11, I did not have knowledge of something happening to me when I was younger. So, I don't know, it's almost like, now that I know and I understand more about what happened in that situation, I can kind of explain that situation better, because like I said, in 2007, I just kind of I didn't really say much about it. I really didn't go into detail as to what happened with that when I called my aunt, but I literally did that. I called her and said that. So that was just something that always stuck out in my mind. But I'll talk more about that when I talk about my childhood. So I'm not going to get in too much into that, but because right now I'm just focused on clearing that up. And that would be the only situation I've ever had with, you know, that type of thing, children and, you know, that type of thing. Like, I've never done anything like that as an adult. Like I said, I don't have sexual feelings towards children whatsoever. You see who my husbands are. I shared who my husbands are, so it's like, you know, you see what I'm interested in. That's what I'm interested in, you know what I mean? You know, so it's like I don't have any sexual or romantic feelings towards children whatsoever. Young girls, young boys, children, teenagers. I don't have any sexual feelings towards teenagers. To be quite honest, it's not a deal breaker, but I really don't have many romantic or sexual feelings towards men that are younger than me. I'm kidding you. I really want someone that's older than me. You know, it doesn't have to be older than me by a lot, but you know, I just want someone older than me. Like, it can be a year older than me, it could be a 2 year, you know, but it's like I really prefer men that are older than me, because I guess for the reasons I stated as to how they do the arranged marriages and everything, because I feel like someone older than me, I can just kind of respect more. I think I just respect more, you know, if they're older than me. I can respect someone younger than me. It's not a deal breaker. Like, I would date someone maybe a few years younger than me or so at the most, but that's really not what I want. You know, but you know, sometimes you meet people and they're more mature that way or something, but you know, if they were to be younger than me, it would really no more than a couple to few years, you know, no more than that, because it's like a respect thing with me when it comes to relationships, because I have to respect whoever I'm with. So it's not impossible for me to respect someone a man younger than me, but like it's easier for me to respect a man that's older than me. You know, so I really prefer people that are older than me. Everyone that I've been serious with or had serious relationships with have been older than me. So you know, I just want to clear that up, because it's an issue. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't want the wrong information out there. So it's, you know, that's why I have to clear these things up, because people do so much of this and they don't have the right information. So it just causes a lot of issues, because, you know, they're telling whoever, and then they, just like I just stated, it's similar to, it's, first of all, it's interpretation. It's how people are interpreting the information. It's comprehension. You know, if they're reading it, you know, they interpret it all kinds of ways. So it's like someone might read something and read my confession, and then they're kind of like, oh my God, you know what I mean? But it's like, no, it was juicy. It was the truth. It was juicy. I literally wrote down everything I felt was wrong. So, you know, it was pretty juicy. But yeah. But it's like, you know, this is why I have to do this, because it's like I don't want anyone thinking the wrong things about me. You know what I mean? So I will say it again and again and again, but you know, at some point I know the truth, and I'm not going to keep repeating myself on it. But I will say this again, loud and clear. I have no sexual feelings towards children, towards little girls, towards little boys, okay? And towards animals, okay? Because that's another thing we got to clear up here, okay? Also, on the confession, see, now I'm talking about the confession because I don't know what's been said about me, really, because no one says anything to me about any rumors. No one says anything to me about what may be being said about me. So it's an issue, because I can literally confirm or deny what's being said or what rumors or whatever, you know. So it's like no one says anything to me about what rumors or what people are saying or what concerns or what things they have. So it's a, I have to, because I would just confirm or deny it that way, but it's like, I'm doing it on my own because I just feel it's necessary. I haven't heard anything along these lines as far as directly, but I just can imagine. That's all what people were saying. So animals. Okay, so the same with animals. I have no sexual feelings towards animals of any kind. Okay, children, animals. I have no sexual feelings of any kind towards children or animals. Okay, so now animals, also it's a similar thing with the rumor on children, because I had wrote something in my confession. Again, I'm confessing everything I felt was wrong in my life. You know what I mean? So that was the point of it. So there's not going to be any good things on a confession. It's everything you've done wrong. So someone could have read that and not known that. They don't know. So if you want to do a good confession, like everything good that you've done in your life, now I would have an even longer confession than 13 pages. You know what I mean? So it's like, you see my point. These are all the things wrong that I feel I've done. So now we're on animals. Okay, so what also was in the confession was something that also stood out in my life, which would have been in 2000. Let me be clear. Hold on. In 2011. I'm sorry. Wait, was it 2011? It would have been like the end of 2010 to... Actually, it was 2011. I'm sorry. 2011. Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, now that I see I should have prepared better to get everything, the dates and whatnot. But yeah, it would have been 2011. So, okay, so in 2011, I had another episode, which would have been right after my breakup with Mr. Clowney, who relocated to Charlotte. So, basically, that relationship ended like officially in 2011. So, I just really went off the deep end after that. Not the deep end, but I was rebellious and I was just acting I was acting brand new after the breakup, because like it was a lot going on, and I'll talk more about that. But I started acting brand new because I was rebelling. I was rebelling, and it was like it was really rebelling. I'm sorry. So basically, in 2011, after this breakup, we're done in the beginning of 2011. I had went into another episode, not right away, but just a little bit after the breakup, not long after it. I went into another episode. That's when I said I created that page, Sierra B, and all that stuff. So I had went into an episode after the breakup, and basically, I'm sorry. Okay, so I went into an episode after the breakup. So at this time, I was living in Homewood. If you're from Pittsburgh, Homewood, it's an East Side neighborhood. I was living there in an apartment, 2-bedroom apartment on the 3rd floor in Tioga Street. And at this time, I had one cat at the time, because I had two. I had a girl who looked similar to Jasmine, but by this time, what I'm talking about, by this time she had passed away. So now I just had one other cat, which was a all white cat that I had. It was a stray that I found outside. And I'll talk more about this too, because it's a lot. There's a lot going on there. But yeah, it was a white stray cat that I had found outside in front of my apartment building that I had seen twice. The first time I seen it out there, I didn't do nothing. I was like, oh, because, you know, a white cat, I had never owned a white cat in my life, and I just really found white cats really beautiful. I did. So it's, you know, I never owned a white cat. So, you know, it was really pretty, the cat, to me. You know, it was really, like, tempting and appealing, you know what I mean? So I had just found the girl cat. So, you know, I had found the girl cat in front of my mom's home at the time. So I found her, and she was a young cat, real young. You could tell maybe 1, 2, 3 in that area. And she looked just like my cat Jasmine now. That same kind of pattern, that raccoon pattern, tabby, or she could have been a Maine Coon perhaps, because she did have, her fur was a little longer, so she could have been a Maine Coon, or a tabby, but she had that same pattern as Jasmine. So I had found her first, and she was a stray. You know, that's something I did as a child. I would be, you know, feel bad for the stray cats, and so I would, like, you know, take them in and stuff. So, like, it was raining, I was leaving my mom's house, and the cat was in front of her house, and it was real cute, and it was cold, and it was raining, and it was cute. So I took it, put it in my car, drove it home. So now she's fine. She started to adjust to living with me, and she was doing really well. And then not too long after that, I had found the white cat, is what I said. So I had found the white cat in front of my building, in front of my home, and I had seen it the first time out there. It was just walking under a car, rubbing up against the tires, like how cats do. And I was like, you know, I lit a white cat, you know, it was really, like, pretty, and it was nice seeming, the temperament seemed real nice. So I was like, ooh, you know, but I had just got her, so I was like, I can't take another cat in. Like, I can't just be taking every stray cat in, you know. So I ignored it the first time I went back up there, because I would just be, I don't know what I was doing out there, but basically, maybe a week had passed, and I went outside again, and the cat was out there again, doing the same thing, just rubbing up against a car, walking under a car, rubbing up against the tires. It seemed really nice, the temperament, and it was just, you know, it was a big cat. You could see it was well fed. So really, because it was kind of like well fed looking, and it wasn't real skinny, I'm like, this might be someone's cat, you know, because it really looked like in good condition. So I'm like, might be someone's cat. So, you know, because it didn't look so sickly, it didn't look like, you know, that bad. So I took it in, because this time I couldn't help it. I'm like, it's out here again, and it's, you know, so I picked this white cat up, which was a boy. His picture is actually up on my Facebook. His name was Fat Boy. So I picked this cat up and took it in. So now I'm like, okay, I'm done. I can't take in any more stray cats right now, like, because I'm doing too much now. So, like, I took the cat in, and, you know, the cat I had at the time, the little girl cat I had gotten previously, not too long ago, she didn't adjust well to him. She really changed. Her whole temperament changed when I brought the white cat in, and she really was doing well before I brought him in, and you know, she really just started to decline, really physically, after I brought the cat in. And you know, the white cat, he was you could tell was an older cat than the girl cat I had got. And you know, he would be like, he wasn't neutered, obviously. He would be like trying to have sex with the little girl cat, and she would, you know. And you know, at the time, I kind of thought it was funny a little bit. Oh, they're mating or whatever. But I could see that the little girl cat, she was not comfortable. She didn't want to be doing it. You could tell she was in pain and she didn't want to do it, you know. So after I started to see that, I would just be like, okay, I gotta like stop this, you know. So, you know, I would like try to separate them as much as possible. And, you know, sometimes though, if I was leaving, you know, sometimes I would forget to, you know, shut the door and separate them. So, you know, who knows what the hell was going on when I wasn't home, you know what I mean? Because you know, when I was there, I would like get him off of her and protect her, you know, but, you know, sometimes I would just, it maybe slip my mind or something if I left. And, you know, I just don't want to imagine what may have been going on when I wasn't there, you know, to kind of get him off of her. So, this little girl cat, she really declined quickly, and she passed away. I would say she lasted another close to 6 to 8 months, I would say, after I brought in the white cat, and she passed away. She just declined, really. And, you know, by the time I took her to the vet, it was just too late, I think. I was informed she had leukemia, which is something real contagious that happens with cats often. And it's not something you can come back from. But I think she had other issues maybe going on inside of her because, you know, I thought she could tell she was in pain. So, you know, I felt that's something, again, that I felt really bad about, and it really stuck out in my mind because I just felt like she was doing so well, and, you know, she was really thriving and getting used to living with me and everything. And then I brought in this white cat, and it just, everything changed. So I really felt bad about that because, you know, it was just a horrible death, I thought, you know. And I just really felt guilty about that. So now she's passed away. And so now I just have the white cat there. And so, you know, basically I'm in an episode now. In 2011, the beginning of 2011, right after the breakup, I had went into an episode. And so I'm in my home, the same home I had in Homewood, the third-story apartment, which is a lot going on there as well. I have to talk about that. There was actually an opening, I found out, and I knew there was an opening there. There was a portal in that apartment when I was staying there, and you just don't want to know where it went to. You know, it was a portal to hell there, and you know, I knew that, but you know, it's just now that I'm looking back. At the time I knew that, you know, so, but at the time I'm looking back, it's like I can kind of just sort out the information better now, and I can kind of identify what was going on in times like in the past that I might not have been 100% sure about what was actually going on. So, you know, what open and closed, I'll talk more about those as well, portals and openings to different dimensions and to hell and whatnot. So yeah, those they tend to open and close, so they don't usually stay open constantly. They usually open, and you know, there was an opportunity, and then they close, you know, whatnot. So I'll talk more about that though. But basically, so I'm in this episode, and I was in my home, and I confessed this on the confession, but I got it switched up. See, now this is something a little detail I got mixed up on the confession. So this is something else I'm clearing up because I did write something that was incorrect. One thing, which I'm about to clear up now, just a little detail. So, you know, when I would be in these episodes, like, I would just have the urge to do certain things, or I would do things out of impulse. I wouldn't think about them, you know. I wouldn't do a lot of thinking before I would act and do things on impulse because, you know, that's just what I would do, like certain things. And I'll talk about a lot of things I did in episodes. But I was in the room with the cat, okay? So this is Fat Boy, okay? His name was Fat Boy, the cat. I had named him that. And he was just laying there, and for some reason, I was just kind of staring at him for a while, and really, I don't know what came over me. You know, out of nowhere, I had never had feelings like this prior. I had never had any urges, not feelings, but I had never had urges or anything like this prior to this or after this. So yeah, like I just looked at him and I just, for some reason, I thought I was supposed, well, I put my mouth down on, I'm being honest here, we're confessing wrongdoings. It's pretty disgusting, really, but, you know, he's laying there, and for some reason, I had the urge to, like, put my mouth on his you know, his little weenie. It's a cat. You know, they have, male cats, they have weenies, you know. And I'm being honest now. Can we? So, you know, it's like, it's not funny. It's pretty disgusting, you know. But, you know, I'm just telling the truth of what happened, you know. So, I had felt the urge to put my mouth on his little wee-wee. So that's what I did. You know, I bent over and I put his little wee-wee in my mouth for like 2 seconds, you know, literally. And it was disgusting. Again, I got a bad feeling about it. You know, I was like, ugh. You know, that's what I did. Like, I got up, I was like, ugh. You know, and I just was like, ugh, why, you know, why would I do that? You know, so it's like, I did that. You know, I didn't move my mouth. I didn't give him, like, full oral pleasure, you know. I 2 seconds, like, and I didn't move around my mouth or nothing. I just stayed still for, like, 1-2 seconds, and then I went like that, and I was like, ugh. You know what I mean? But I did that. I had the urge to do that at that time because I don't know why I felt like, for some reason in that moment, and I felt like, I don't know, I just did that, you know. And, you know, I never did anything like that prior. Never did anything like that as a child because I've had cats all my life, male cats and female cats, and I've never done anything like that prior to that, and I've never done anything after that, you know. And you know, because again, that was something that stood out in, you know, in my life, and I just was like, yeah, you know, that's wrong, and it's disgusting. You know, I got a bad feeling when I did that, you know what I mean? So now that I'm looking back on something like that, I can kind of decipher that a little bit better as well, because you know, there was something that happened in previous life cycles that you know, that has something to do with that, you know, things I was forced to do. So, you know, because I would be like, there's a lot going on, okay? Like, as I stated, I have been to hell, and I can vividly tell you details of what hell is like. And I do have something else I have to tell everyone because it's real relevant. But the relevant thing is that I'll talk more about hell because that is such a complex thing. It'll take a long time to really talk about. That's really its own subject. And like I said, I'm more focused on myself right this minute because I just have to clear up all these things. So once I get into like more general things on general topics, I'll talk more about that. But basically, I do have to drop a bomb on everyone. Not literally, please don't take that the wrong way. But the bomb that I have to drop is that we are in hell right this minute. This is one earth at this point in time in history is one dimension of hell. So hell is not just, I'll explain more of this, but a little bit about hell is that hell has many dimensions. Okay, hell is not just one place, you know what I mean? There are many dimensions of hell. Okay, so when we're looking at earth at this current moment in time in history, we are in hell right now. Okay, this is one dimension of hell because this is not what the earth is supposed to be like. You know, this was not intended. All the things you turn on the news, you're seeing hell. You know what I mean? You're seeing some of it, you know, of what they're reporting, you know. And then there's things that happen on earth and occur on earth every second, every day, every hour that people don't know anything about, you know, that are just heinous, evil things, because they're not going to tell you everything on the news. You're not going to know about everything occurring right now, you know, and all over the world, black market things, genocides, just, you know, biological warfare. You're not going to hear about all this stuff. These are all things that are evil things, and the earth has been taken over by evil. It has, and it's predominantly evil at this point, the earth. So you see, the earth, this is how you determine what is a dimension of hell or not. Okay, it's similar to a person when they weigh in and they're like, this person is predominantly godly, this person is predominantly evil. It's similar to that. So it's regions. They get regional balance. There's also regional balance and things like that. So earth at this moment is predominantly evil due to all the evil upon the earth. So there's good people as well. There's many, many, many good people on earth as well. But if we're talking balance, the earth is predominantly evil right now. So anything, any region, any dimension, I'll talk more about dimensions and things, other dimensions and things as well. But any dimension that is considered predominantly evil, it's considered a dimension of hell. So earth at this point is considered a dimension of hell. So, there are many dimensions, okay? It can get a lot worse than earth, you know what I mean? There's other dimensions of it. So I've been to all of the dimensions of hell. So, basically, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so I'm sorry. So in other dimensions, I just found the train of thought. So, in other dimensions of hell, in previous life cycles as well as this life cycle, I have been forced to do just heinous, horrible things, because for me to be in certain places was just such pleasure and such greatness for some evil beings, demons and Apep, a lot of his workers, to have access to me. It was like a dream of theirs. Some demons and Apep, and other evil beings, they would dream of being able to torture me and being able to do certain things. You know what I mean? They would be waiting to be able to do this. So, I was a lot of horrible things I was forced to do. So it's like, because the thing about hell is, it preys on all your fears. It preys on everything you're fearful of, everything you're frightened of. So they take your fears and he will prey on these things. So it's like, I'll just name a few things I was made to do in certain other dimensions of hell. One of my absolute things I just fear the most are, is water. Well, I've said this. There's 4 things that really scare me the most. It would be big bodies of water, like deep, deep oceans, like, being stranded in the middle of the ocean is like a big fear of mine. Where there's like no land, where nowhere, you're just out somewhere you don't know, that's a big fear of mine. Also maggots, baby flies, maggots, fly larvae, this makes me cringe, Everyone has certain things they just fear the most. I'm sorry, what else? There's 4 primary things I'm fearful of. What's the other 2? I can't remember. So it's maggots, huge bodies of water. Okay, see? I forgot my most things I'm fearful of. See how many things are on my mind? Okay, so basically I'm getting off subject, but a few things that I was made to do when I was in other dimensions of hell is consume raw meat, consume raw animal flesh, as well as human flesh, as well as just other types of flesh. Raw flesh is something I cringe. Like, anyone who knows me, I do eat meat at this moment. So, that's something else I gotta explain. You know, I do eat meat at this moment because I too am accustomed to that. You know, that is not the intentional way of things, but you know, I am accustomed to that as well at this moment. And you know, I would love to, you know, explore vegetarian and vegan lifestyles and eating. You know, but I just really don't have the knowledge on to maintain a vegan and vegetarian lifestyle, because I know it's, you know, it takes certain ingredients. You got to have this and that, and you know, I don't have a lot of money right now, so I can't afford to. I don't know, not to my knowledge. I know there's just, you need a lot of certain things specifically, and I just know it's a whole lifestyle change, and you have to have the information. So, you know, if I have the opportunity to, you know, talk and work with someone specifically that is familiar with a vegan and vegetarian lifestyle, I'm totally willing to do that, because I know I would like that, because I've seen a lot of vegan and vegetarian dishes lately, and I'm very impressed, because they're really delicious. I'm hearing, you know, it's not just what you think it is anymore, just eating lettuce or something. You know, it's a lot of good food, you know, coming. So it's just, you just have to know how to do that and what to do with that. But at this present moment, I do eat meat. So, but anyone who knows me personally, they know one of my pet peeves when it comes to eating any kind of meat is it has to be well done. You know, that is something I make sure of. I will not eat it. You know, if I don't think it's cooked to my liking, my desire, I won't eat it. You know what I mean? I don't eat rare steak. I don't eat, you know, people that know me, they know I let my meat, if I can do it, I let my meat cook long, and it gets tender, and it's well done, and it's just falling off the bone, and you know what I mean? That's the kind of meat I like. I don't like any kind of raw meat. I can't do it. I have eaten sushi though. I have eaten sushi and I like it. So I don't know what that, I don't know. That's something I like it. I do, but I don't, you know, I guess, I don't know. I guess I'm talking about more so like chicken, steak, you know, those types of meat, chicken, steak, fish too. Like when I cook fish, but I have eaten sushi and I like it. But I guess I'm talking more about like poultry, beef, pork, those types of things, fish and whatnot. Aside from sushi, because I have eaten that and I like it. But yeah, that's really one of my pet peeves. Oh, I'm at 52 minutes right now, so I'm going to end at 1 hour, like I said, and then I'll start the next video. So basically, like I said, a few of the things I have been made to do in other dimensions of hell is because that is one of my pet peeves. They prey on your fears, they prey on your dislikes, and they prey on that, you know what I mean? So I was made to do that, you know. I was made to eat raw flesh, raw. We're talking no rare, not medium well. We're talking straight, bloody, raw. We're talking, you know, eating a cow, basically. We're talking just raw flesh. You know, say you slaughter a cow and you just start eating it. You know, that's what I mean. Like, you know, I was made to do that, you know, not just specifically beef, but I just mean raw animals. I was made to eat their flesh. It was it was a horrible experience. That is also, and that carries on in my life. That is also why I'm so like, it's so important for me to have my meat cooked well, because I won't eat it. I will send it back in a restaurant. I won't eat it if someone personally makes it. I don't do it, because that's one of the remnants of those horrible experiences. I don't want anything to do with it, and it's not healthy either, but it's just, I can't do it. So, you know, I was made to eat not just raw flesh of animals as well as humans. So you see, it's cannibalism. I was forced to do cannibalism, and it's raw, you know, not cooked anyway. Like, I was forced to do cannibalism. I was forced to hell is there. It can get worse. There are really horrible dimensions of hell. So I was forced to do that, and we're not just talking raw fresh flesh. We're talking raw diseased flesh, raw diseased flesh, raw maggots on the flesh, eating the flesh, and I had to eat that like that with maggots. I'm sorry, maggots on the flesh. I don't want to start crying because it's just such a horrible experience. So it can really get bad and worse. So this is why I have to do this. You see, because it's a lot that's going on that people don't see and know every day. Even though APAP has been forgiven, he had a lot of workers, a lot of demons, witches, warlocks. He had workers, many workers. So it's like some of those people have also been forgiven, but a lot of them won't. They have not been forgiven, and they're still trying to carry on the work of APAP. Satan and APAP, they're the same person. So that's what's going on now. So now we have his workers. Someone has taken his spot, so to speak, because APAP, as I said, he has been forgiven. APAP is working with Ra now. APAP is sitting with Ra. Okay, but his workers, once he was forgiven, one of his workers, one of his most powerful or most loyal workers, took his spot as, like, as someone on those types of missions. So that is what's happening now. That is why there is still evil. That is why there is still a lot going on. So it's like, basically, damn, see, I lost my train of thought again. There are other dimensions of hell. So it's like there's still other dimensions of hell as we speak, and they want to come here. They want to be able. The main goal of APAP for a long time was to have the dimensions be open to each other. So what that means is that if the dimensions open and the gates open to all the dimensions, is a very horrible thing. And I'll explain more of that as well. It's very horrible, and you don't want that to happen. So they want to come here very badly, because they look at Earth, and as I stated, Earth is one dimension of hell. I'm at 57 minutes. Earth is one dimension of hell, but there are worse dimensions. So there are beings and demons and workers, evil workers, looking at Earth as we speak, and they're like, what? Oh, we want to get there. They think they have no idea what we can do to Earth. You know what I mean? So it's like they want to come here. So you can't have the gates between the dimensions open, because it's a really bad thing, because anything would be able to come to Earth, any evil being, and anything from Earth, humans, whatever, they would be able to go to other dimensions, and that's just not good, because you don't want to be traveling dimensions and you don't know what you're doing, because you really could end up somewhere you don't want to be. You can end up stuck somewhere. You're going to end up somewhere you don't want to be. So you can't have people being able to freely travel throughout the dimensions, because it's really horrible. You could really end up somewhere you really, really can't get out of and you don't want to be. So horrible places. So it's, they want to come here and do this. So this is why part of the reason I have to do this, because, it can really get bad, basically, I'll explain more about that. But, so I was made to eat raw meat, raw diseased flesh of animals and human meat. I was made to, made to have sexual relations with animals of different sorts in other dimensions, because that, again, he preys on your pet peeves. He preys on your fears and your just things you think is wrong and your dislikes. So it's like that's also something in my mind that, you know what I mean. So animals, it's like, I love animals, like I said, I love animals, but it's not sexually. So you see, they do that, so, and I have been made to engaged in sexual relations with animals. And I'm not just talking going down on a cat for 2 seconds and not doing anything, I'm talking like being raped by big animals. Like I can tell you vividly what certain dimensions are like. So some of these animals, their penises are huge. Like if we're talking horses and bigger animals, and